Hi, Peter Rosenfeld here. In this short video, I'm going to get you up and running as quickly and efficiently as possible with your own self-hosted WordPress website. Now, why WordPress? Well, there are three main content management systems out there: Joomla, Drupal, and WordPress. I started off with Joomla about 10 years ago. And although it's a fantastic system, WordPress has emerged as the clear winner in terms of the content management CMS market, and accounts for, they reckon, about 70% of the internet. So it would be crazy not to go with that. There's so much support available, so many add-ons, so many great plugins that you can get that it really wouldn't make sense to go with anything else. So once you've made that crucial decision, the next decision you need to make is, do you go with WordPress.com or WordPress.org? And I will explain the difference between those two. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. So here you have WordPress.org, and this website is WordPress.com. Now, they are the same company and it's the same product. The only difference is that using WordPress.org, you're on your own. You've got the exact same product, but you need to host it yourself. And WordPress.com is hosted in the cloud for a monthly fee. Now, I highly recommend you go with the self-hosted version. It gives you much more flexibility, and you have the added bonus of not paying a monthly fee to WordPress. But the reason that they have the hosted environment is actually great, because it means that the development of WordPress is kept up, and that's one of the reasons I believe that they've emerged as a clear winner in the content management system market. So go ahead and download your WordPress zip file. It's only 11 megs. So now the next step is to decide what company you'd like to use for your hosting. Now, 20 years ago when I had my first server, it was a box under my desk. That's obviously no longer the case, and there are tons of companies out there offering great hosting packages. I recommend SiteGround. I've used them for years. They've been great. You can choose any continent you want your server on, and I've just found them awesome. But you might have a different preference. But basically, the process I'm going to take you through is very similar. So once you've logged into SiteGround, you get this interface, which is a little bit archaic looking, but it works very well, so bear with me. So the first thing you need to do is decide what the domain for your new website is going to be. So you go here and say Add Services, and for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm actually going to set up a real website. So I'm going to choose a website I'd like to be called Finest Online Offers. I would like it to be a .com website, because .com, if you're going to have multinational sort of people visiting, that's the most sort of generally accepted. Now, when I check this domain, I know it won't be available because I already own it. So I'm just going to show you for the purposes of this tutorial. So SiteGround will check, and it'll find that it's not available, and it'll give you suggestions of other domains that are available with the same wording. If you're in a country and your website is very specific to that country, like it's a local business or something, then obviously it makes sense to go with a country-specific domain like .com.au or .co.za or .co.uk. You get the drift. A little trick that I found is, if you find something that's not available on a .com domain and you want to just put a my in front of it, so my Finest Online Offers, you'll often find that that is available. That's just a little trick that I found. And the other thing I need to mention, so I'm not going to go ahead and register that because I've already got the name. The other thing I need to mention is these packages here. I'm on a Grow Big account, which I actually pay $25 a month for, because I've had it for a number of years. They only give the special price for 3 months. But if you just got one website, you're looking at $15 per month hosting, or multiple websites, unlimited websites for $25. So if you've sort of got any intention of having more than one website, then obviously this one makes perfect sense. Right, so you've got your domain, you've chosen your hosting company, we've downloaded WordPress. So what the next step is to upload WordPress to our new domain. So for that, we'll go back to the accounts section here, and we're going to go to a tool called cPanel. And most of the hosting companies make use of this software called cPanel. it looks a bit archaic and a bit confusing. Some people hate it. I personally think it does the job pretty well, and no reason to not use it. So WordPress runs on a database. So the first thing we need to do is create a database. So it always needs to be a MySQL database. So let's go ahead here and click the MySQL database wizard. And the first thing you need to do, this extension will be given to you when you first actually open the account. So I'm stuck with the name of my old girlfriend in here. I can't do much about that, but I trust you'll make a better choice than I did when you open your account. So I'm going to go ahead here and call the database Finest Online Offers 4. And this really is not, you just need to remember what your database is named. So, or write it down rather. And then the next thing we're going to do is create a user for that database. So I'm just going to call it admin 3. And the password, it's important that you take note of the password for when you, a little bit down the line, when you finish setting up WordPress. I'm just going to use its generated password here, and I'm going to copy that quickly to my clipboard, my little text editor, so that I have it. And go ahead and copy that. Use the password. And it says it's very strong. We're going to go ahead now and then create the user. Now this is very important. Once the user is created, you need to make sure that you check this box and give all privileges to that user, to that database. So I'll just go ahead and copy those credentials to my clipboard as well. It's important that you get these right, because otherwise the next step won't work. Okay, so that's done. And next step. Great, so then the map has been successfully added to the database. Now we need to actually upload WordPress to our folder. So you go back to cPanel and you go to File Manager. And don't be intimidated by this directory structure. It'll be a lot simpler when you open a new account, but I've got a lot of different accounts here, so that's the reason mine has got a lot of subfolders. But the important one is the public.html, which is highlighted with this little globe icon. That's where your websites will all live. So if you've got multiple websites, each one will be under a folder corresponding to its domain name. So there's the finally breaking free one. If you've only got one website, it'll just be in the public HTML folder. Let's find this online offers. So I've already got a WordPress website installed here, and I'm going to just go ahead and delete all those files. So I'll select everything in that directory. If this is a brand new installation, you'll just have a couple of files in here, just delete them. So you've got a completely empty directory on the directory that corresponds to your new website. So now you're going to go and upload WordPress. So you'll choose that file that you downloaded from wordpress.org. And it's uploading on the left-hand side there. You'll see it's 3%. And I'm not going to stop this video. You're going to have to bear with me while this uploads. I hope the weather where you are is better than it is in Copenhagen today. It's pretty chilly, but spring is well on its way. La da da. And just so you know, all of these websites are using, they run on Linux and Apache Tomcat as the server, just a bit of FYI, not that it's necessary. Right, so now that you've uploaded that, you go back to your file manager. Oh, the directory is still empty. Well, you just need to click it again to refresh. So here you've got your file that you uploaded, which is the compressed file of all the WordPress files. So you're going to extract that. So I clicked on the extract button, and WordPress goes and puts it into a subdirectory, which doesn't help you because you don't want to have to access your website via a subdirectory. So the first thing I always do is delete the zip file that I've just unpacked. Delete that. Go into the WordPress directory and then select all files and directories in that. So click the first one, shift click the bottom one, and then just drag and drop the whole lot through to your main directory. So there you go. Now if you click back on the main directory, there's all the files and folders that you put in, and you can go ahead and delete that empty directory there. Great, so we've got WordPress unpacked in the main directory of our website. Now the next step is to go ahead and actually connect WordPress to the database. So to do that, you go to the front end. By the front end, I mean go to your actual domain itself. So you can see here, you've got to finusonlineoffice.com, enter, and that's the dialog you'll get for a brand new WordPress installation that hasn't yet connected to its database. And you'll go to whatever country you want the main WordPress installation to be, and continue. Now it tells you you're going to be needing the username, etc. And you can go ahead and click Let's Go. So the database name, so that's back to here. So my database name is that. Paste that in there. The username for the database was that. And the password was that. Now, this is always localhost, don't change that. And then the database prefix table, you can actually change that to whatever you like, but I just normally leave it at that. They reckon if you want to prevent your site being hacked and that, you can change these prefixes to make it more difficult, but I've never had a problem, so I'm not going to bother. So you go ahead and submit that. So now you get a message from WordPress. All right, sunshine, you made it through this part. WordPress cannot communicate with your database. It's time to go. So you run the installation, and here you give your files. And your username or whatever you like there. And then this you can actually put in any password that you like. I'll just go ahead and use the one that they've suggested, very strong. You can change this obviously later in your back office. And your email. And if you've got any intention of your website being found on Google, do not check that box, whatever you do, because that will just tell all the search engines just to ignore your site. So just don't check that, and go ahead and click the install WordPress. So WordPress has been installed. Go ahead and enjoy. So you log in, and it's remembered what the password that it created. So you'll go ahead and log in. Oh, I didn't remember it, so let's go ahead and take, lucky I copied that. Log in. And boom, you're into your WordPress back office, which is awesome. So this is the back office of WordPress, and you click on visit site, and that's what your brand new WordPress website looks like on the front end. Doesn't look like much at the moment because you need to start installing themes, or one theme and a bunch of useful plugins. And I, through trial and error, have been able to isolate the finest templates and the best plugins to make your WordPress journey as easy as possible. I'll cover that in the next tutorial. But right now, I'd just like to address this issue here that WordPress has found. PHP, that is the protocol that your server uses to communicate with your database and the website. So you need to actually update this. Now you can go ahead and contact your service provider and tell them to update, but you can also do it yourself very simply. So back on cPanel, there is a PHP version manager. And all you do is you find the website in question. So mine was Finest Online Offers. So there it is. And I'm going to run, that's the latest version. So I'm going to update that and go back. Now if we go to our dashboard again and refresh, then that message should be gone. There we go. So PHP is updated to the latest version. I hope that has been as straightforward and simple as possible, and I will see you in the next tutorial where we'll cover templates and plugins.